Good help toward the price.
Well, I would have never said that if I told you.
Call the meeting to order. The meeting for our regular scheduled council meeting for March 22nd, 2021 is now in session. Would everyone please rise for pledge of allegiance to the flag led by Councilperson Fisher?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will take the roll call. Councilperson Ginevra?
Here.
Councilperson Schomburg?
Here.
Councilperson Becker?
I'm here.
Councilperson Fisher?
present.
Councilperson Bradley is absent. Councilperson Massa is absent. Councilperson Picarella?
Present.
And before I go any further, I must remind everyone that we are live streaming this meeting. And also remember, council, to make sure that you turn your speakers on when you talk. And as long as you're talking, it will stay on, but when you're not talking, it will turn off in about 30 seconds, I believe it is. And with that, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Mayor, did we want to move the recognition up a little higher, or you just want to do it where it is?
Where's it at on here? Let me see.
That's down under public welfare. It won't take that long to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. If you want to amend it, that's fine.
I'll move to amend the agenda to move the recognition for Mr. Carty up to the first item after the approval of the agenda. And with that, to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, has this agenda been posted, dated, signed, and or initialed? Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes of the council meeting of February the 22nd, 2021?
I'll move to approve the minutes from the February 22nd meeting.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Public comment? Yes.
Mr. Carty first.
Mr. Carty, yeah, I'm sorry. Yep. Chief, where you at? There he is. Both chiefs.
I want to thank everybody that's here for Ronnie Carty tonight. He's been with the Crystal City Fire Department for 50 years. He actually, I can't tell you how long, but he was with both departments, Hurricane and Crystal, for numerous of years. But we got lucky that he lived in Crystal. Anytime I ever need anything, he's always willing to help us. He's knowledgeable when it comes to fixing the trucks. That's why we don't pay a lot of maintenance, because he does a lot for us. So I can't say any more than that. We thank him for all his service for 50 years.
Absolutely.
Come up.
Yep.
Want to present this to you, Ronnie Carty. Appreciate the 50 years of service with the Crystal City Fire Department. Thank you.
Now, you're not going anywhere, are you, Ron?
Mayor's gonna come down a bit.
Huh?
You want to take it? No, you're not going anywhere, I got you. All right, we'll, take ours back across the street. We got cake and ice cream and refreshments, and we'll let you guys have our meeting.
Wait a minute.
Thank you. I try to get him firing me all the time, Mayor.
Oh, you're not going anywhere.
What?
I know where you live. Huh? Just-
That's what I was
I don't need to do. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
It was. Come on, old man.
You got it?
Yeah. I ain't as old as you, though.
You're in a big hurry, go ahead.
Can't party till he's getting ready to get his honor gets over there.
What'd I do?
First time I've had a big
It's been a while. I just give you
I do that quite well too.
50 years.
Yeah.
I wasn't even a twinkle in my parents' eye 50 years ago.
Yeah.
years ago, when we first started.
You're still a junior fireman, huh? Okay, moving on. Public comment. We have Melissa Hartman, St. Pius High School Fireworks Extravaganza, July 22nd.
This is the annual thing that they started doing several years ago as one of their fundraising deals out at St. Pius. We've never really had an issue. Chief Bova didn't have an issue being on call or responding, having a truck out there that night. Police department always does what they do, so they're just requesting approval.
I move to approve the event.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the St. Pius event on 4th of July. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Christopher Pitt, is that correct?
I am not sure, and he told me he would be here, but I don't see him.
Let's go ahead and discuss this, it's in the packet.
Right. So he had called, last week and then emailed Shelley, what you have in front of you. The mayor and I rode up there today, the chief, both chiefs and I, and the street department, Mr. Turner, talked about this morning as far as speed bumps. Not a really good idea, but we would be willing to put some caution, slow children playing signs or something like that along the route up there. I did talk to him about 3:30 this evening, shared that information with him. He said he had some pictures, he still wanted to come before the council and talk. I said, not a problem, just here to help. I sent him a picture of one of the signs down on Maple Street, see if that would be okay. And he just said he wanted to share some pictures with you, so I don't know where he's at. So that was our thinking. No.
Okay.
Not that he had, because a lot of times when we get these agenda request forms, I try to handle it before they get here if I can. And after talking to the staff meeting, taking the mayor up there today, we thought we'd start with some caution signs or, slow down, because there is a pretty, that's probably most of Williamsburg cuts through and goes, and then hits south, or north, on the highway.
Good, won't you fast, is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what he's saying.
With the hill that goes down on
Yeah. And then subsequently, Danny ran up there today and said that there should be no parking on,
the north side of Sunridge, there by the bowling alley, and because tire parking's been overflowing on that side of the street, it's causing some dangerous interaction when you're coming on a Truman, making that left-hand turn to go south, you really can't see with the parking, so we're gonna put no parking signs back up tomorrow, because there used to be one there, because there's one at the top of the hill, so, it got run over, or taken down, or what happened to it.
is it on the bowling alley side or?
Bowling alley side,
So it'll be on its side.
south side, yes.
So that could help some, but he acted like he wanted to be here, and so.
And the chief's aware of it.
Yes. The chief has offered to do extra patrols, put their traffic trailer up there.
We have not, but this is really the first that I've known of this issue, so we'll give it attention and do extra patrol and traffic enforcement.
Putting the speed sign out usually helps for a little while, anyway. Just makes you aware of how fast you're going, if nothing else.
Definitely give it attention.
Okay.
But none of the department heads or the mayor or myself think we should start throwing speed bumps up in the middle of roads.
Yeah, not on a, I mean, that's
We need them all down Mississippi.
that's an artery.
But I understand the traffic and
Can't.
stuff that comes through there,
Yeah.
so, provided he doesn't show up before the meeting's over, I'll reach out to him tomorrow and tell him that it was discussed, and we'll look into some caution signs, slow signs, and do a little more traffic enforcement.
Yeah, I think you said something about there's a lot of, children up there, we can get, like they got them signs. You say you took a picture of that?
That one, that's a private individual that put that sign
Right,
up, but I can
right.
probably have some made pretty similar to it. I think so.
Very good.
Okay.
Moving on, check register and bills, financial report, sales tax report, Councilperson Becker and Madam Clerk.
Jason, did you have anything you wanted to comment on in this?
I do not.
Okay. I didn't either. Mayor, I'll be making a motion to approve the check register and bills and, the reports that are included in the packet, and then I need to make one more motion this evening.
Yes, sir.
If somebody would like to second the approval of the
I'll
check
second it.
register and bills.
The motion been made and seconded for the paying the bills and the check register report. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
And then the second is, every year at this time, we're required by state law to amend our budget to reflect what was actually spent. So, I'd like to move to authorize the city's finance director to make any necessary adjustments to the budget at the end of the year, to correct for actual expenditures.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Annexation Committee, Mr. Eisenbeis.
And,
Water Committee, Councilperson Picarella.
I don't have anything, I don't think Larry's here, I talked to him the other day, they're still looking for a water leak,
Right.
they fixed like 10 or 12 of them.
Well, they fixed about 15, I think it was like 15 of them just in the last, since February. February, so
Well, really,
Mhm.
it's been a tough one. Anything else, Mr. Picarella?
no, sir.
Okay. Public Welfare and Fire, Councilperson Fisher.
I don't have anything, I was looking for chief's report, and I don't see it.
It's in there. I
Is it?
thought I seen it. Yes, sir. Right here, you can
Look
take
at you, turn right to it. You act like you've done this before.
just a couple times.
February, they had, 4 fire practices, total calls was 27, 1 alarm sounding, 5 vehicle accidents, 2 check buildings, and 1 first alarm. 7 mutual aids to Festus, 1 to Herky, 2 to DeSoto, 1 to R7, 3 to Hematite, 1 to Duncan, and 3 to JPAD. And that's all I have, thanks, man.
Thank you, sir. Building Commissioner, Mr. Cox, you have anything on that, Mr. Eisenbeis?
no, this report is in
Okay. Street and street lighting, Councilperson Bradley, do you have anything on that, Mr. Eisenbeis? I do know that there's been a lot of potholes, not only in our town, but I mean across the area due to the fast freeze and the hard freeze and the thaw and the salt and the trucks. So, but we are working on them, but we just wanna fix them and we wanna fix them right. Mr. Eisenbeis and I have spoke about it. You know, we could get some, cold patch, but that doesn't last very long, and I think the asphalt plants are just now starting to open up. Is that correct, Mr. Eisenbeis?
possibly this week or April 1st.
Okay. And just bear with us, 'cause, what we need to do is, rather than just throw something in the hole, we wanna cut it out and fix it right. Police Department, Councilperson Schonberg and Chief Helms.
I don't have
Council liaison reports, Library, Councilperson Fisher.
I don't have anything.
Park, Councilperson Schonberg.
Park looks great. Kids are starting to come out and utilize it more. I know, there's a tennis match, is that the proper term, a tennis match there today, so there's a lot of people in the park, it looks great.
Good, very good. It does look good. Anything else, Ms. Schomburg?
No, sir.
Sewage Commission, Councilperson Picarella.
I don't have anything.
Planning and Zoning, Councilperson Becker.
There is a meeting scheduled for, April 15th that has 2 items on the agenda, but, beyond that, I don't have any more detail than that, because I haven't seen the packet yet. That meeting will be on April 15th, starting at 6:30 PM here in this room.
Very good. Zoning of Appeals, Councilperson Ginevra.
There was a meeting, I think, 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then, Lonnie Compton wanted to subdivide and, have a variance to have a 60-foot, road front instead of 75, and it was voted down, so that's it.
Thank you, sir. Levy Commission, you have anything on the Levy Commission, Mr. Eisenbach?
I do not.
Public response, is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak of something that we had in the previous meeting? Old business, we have none. New business, we have none. Ordinances and resolutions, we have a few. And we will start out with, bill number 1831-2021, the annual budget year ending March 31st, 2022.
Mayor, I'll move to read Bill 1831-2021 on its first reading by title only.
Second. The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1831-2021 by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the first reading of Bill 1831-2021 by title only, please.
Bill number 1831-2021 on its first reading by title only, in accordance to appropriate $8,690,475 out of all funds of the city of Crystal City, Missouri, to cover the annual budget of all expenditures for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2022.
I'll move to approve Bill 1831-2021 on its first reading. Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1831-2021 on its first reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. We need to read that one again, or was it reading?
Do you want to do second reading?
Yeah. Sorry, I was making up my, chart so I can keep track of what I'm doing here.
Well, you just keep going, that way you don't have to keep moving things around.
So we read it and approved it once.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll move to read Bill 1831-2021 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1831-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Bill number 1831-2021 on its second and final reading by title only, an ordinance to appropriate $8,690,475 out of all funds of the city of Crystal City, Missouri, to cover the annual budget of all expenditures for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2022.
Mayor, I'll move to approve Bill 1831-2021 on its second and final reading.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1831-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. The next bill we have is Bill 1832-2021.
Mayor, did you want to do a roll call vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me back up here and do a roll call. Councilperson Picarella?
Yes, sir.
Councilperson Schonberg.
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher.
Yes.
Councilperson Becker.
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever.
Yes.
And now Bill 1831-2021 becomes ordinance 1831-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
The next bill we have is 1832-2021. It's a union contract for 2021 through 2022.
I'll move to read Bill 1832-2021 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1832-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the first reading of Bill 1832-2021, please.
Bill number 1832-2021 on its first reading by title only, 2021-22 union contract, an ordinance establishing rules, regulations, salaries, and hourly rates of pay, emergency pay, and sick leave for certain employees of the city of Crystal City, Missouri, and repealing prior ordinances in which are in direct conflict with this ordinance and any amendments thereto.
I'll move to approve Bill 1832-2021 on its first reading.
I'll second.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1832-2021 on its first reading. Any further discussion?
Can I put in a quick question, Mayor?
Yes.
Out here.
Yes.
Online, when we were sent this, there was some highlighted in yellow. Was that the changes to the contract? Okay, that's all I wanted.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
I'll move to read Bill 1832-2021 on its second reading. By title only.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1832-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second reading, please.
Bill number 1832-2021, 2021-22 union contract, an ordinance establishing rules, regulations, salaries, and hourly rates of pay, emergency pay, and sick leave for certain employees of the city of Crystal City, Missouri, and repealing prior ordinances in which are in direct conflict with this ordinance and any amendments thereto.
I'll move to accept Bill 1832-2021 on its second and final reading.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded to accept Bill 1832-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Schonberg?
Yes.
Councilperson Pickerel?
Yes, sir.
Bill 1832-2021 now becomes ordinance 1832-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? The next one we have is the salary contract, Bill number 1833-2021.
I'll move to read Bill 1833-2021 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1833-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, will you have the first reading, please?
Bill number 1833-2021 on its first reading by title only, 2021-2022 salary contract, an ordinance establishing rules, regulating salaries, vacations, paid holidays, overtime pay, and other benefits for certain salaried employees within the city of Crystal City, Missouri, repealing any other ordinances and setting the effective date of this ordinance.
I'll move to accept Bill 1833-2021 on its first reading.
I'll second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1833-2021 on its first reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Move to read Bill 1833-2021 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept to read Bill 1833-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second and final reading for Bill 1833, please.
Bill number 1833-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. 2021-2022 salary contract. An ordinance establishing rules, regulating salaries, vacations, paid holidays, overtime pay, and other benefits for certain salary employees within the city of Crystal City, Missouri, repealing any other ordinances and setting the effective date of this ordinance.
I'll move to accept Bill 1833-2021 on its second and final reading. Second.
The motion been made and seconded to accept Bill 1833-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Piccarella.
Yes, sir.
Councilperson Schonberg.
Yes, sir.
Councilperson Fisher.
Yes.
Councilperson Becker.
Yes, sir.
Councilperson Ginevra.
Yes.
And 1833 now becomes ordinance 1833-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
The next bill we have is 1834, employment agreement, city administrator.
I'll move to read Bill 1834-2021 on its first reading by title only. Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1834 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, will we have the first reading, please?
Bill number 1834-2021 on its first reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, approving an employment agreement for the purpose of retaining the city administrator and authorizing Mayor Thomas B. Shelley to execute on behalf of the city the employment agreement and any other documents necessary therefor.
I'll move to accept Bill 1834-2021 on its first reading. I'll second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1834-2021 on its first reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
I'll move to read Bill 1834-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1834-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second reading, please.
Bill number 1834-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, approving an employment agreement for the purpose of retaining the city administrator and authorizing Mayor Thomas B. Shelley to execute on behalf of the city the employment agreement and any other documents necessary therefor.
I'll move to accept Bill 1834-2021 on its second and final reading.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1834-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Ginevra?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Schonberg? Councilperson Piccarella? Bill 1834-2021 now becomes ordinance 1834-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
The next one we have, bill number we have is 1835-2021, a contract with Jokers Paving and Construction.
I'll move to read Bill 1835-2021 on its first reading by title only.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1835-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to ask the city administrator to briefly describe 35, 36, and 37, just so we know which one is which.
So 1835 is with Joker's Paving for the parking lot, area surrounding the new complex. We had two companies bid on that. Joker's was the lowest of two bids by the other contract on my desk, but I'm gonna say $18,000 to $20,000. The 1837 was jumping on with the high school. They're gonna redoing their parking lot, so I wanted to jump on and do that little section of 12th Street there. And so we're jumping on to the contract with, Durasil I believe was awarded that contract. So they were the cheaper of the two. Jokers also bid on that, by about $20,000. Or wait.
Jason, I got a question about the street department. I thought that was supposed to be, capped with concrete according to the plan. Is that true, or am I?
The Carl's spec sheet that he gave us showed, I'm gonna say 6 inches of concrete, and that bid came in at $500,000.
Right,
So it went to asphalt.
okay, but
The
that's,
areas around the shop and outside the salt dome and around the Kenmore concrete, but the rest of the parking lot will be asphalt.
and that's okay with the DNR?
Yeah. It's capped, they were concerned about the cap.
Right,
There's still 6 to 8 inches of asphalt or granular base rock, and
okay.
it'll be, I think, because it's called for 6 inches of asphalt, so, yeah.
Okay, so
There's caps,
doesn't matter what the material is, it just,
correct.
okay.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Any further discussion? Because the motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1835-2021 on the first reading by title only. Madam Clerk, may we have the first reading, please? All in favor on the first reading?
Aye.
The motion was made and seconded, correct?
Yeah.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the first reading, please.
Bill number 1835-2021, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, to enter into a contract with Joker's Paving and Contracting to perform grading and asphalt work at 110 Chestnut Street for $131,200 plus rock at $17.90 a ton.
I'll move to accept Bill 1835-2021 on its first reading.
Second. The motion been made and seconded to
Accept Bill 1835-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
I'll move to read Bill 1835-2021 on its second reading by title only.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1835-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second reading and final reading on 1835-2021, please.
Bill number 1835-2021 on its second and final reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, to enter into a contract with Joker's Paving and Contracting to perform grading and asphalt work at 110 Chestnut Street for $131,200 plus rock at $17.90 a ton.
Move to accept Bill 1835-2021 on its second and final reading.
Second. The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1835-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Schonberg? Councilperson Pickerel?
Yes.
Grab a copy.
Bill 1835-2021 now becomes ordinance 1835-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Ready for the next one?
Have you got the,
Yeah. 36.
who's got the, okay, right here it is. Trying to keep track of them.
Yeah, I know. We ready for 36?
The next bill we have is 1836-2021, a contract with Horner and Schifrin.
I'll move to read Bill 1836-2021 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1836-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the first reading of Bill 1836, please.
Bill number 1836-2021 on its first reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, to enter into a contract with Horner and Schifrin for an amount not to exceed $29,600 to provide professional services for the Crystal City, Jefferson County Water Authority and interconnect.
I'll move to accept Bill 1836 on its, 2021 on its first reading.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1836-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
I'll move to read Bill 1836-2021 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1836-2020, to read Bill 1836-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second reading, please.
Bill number 1836-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, to enter into a contract with Horner and Schifrin for an amount not to exceed $29,600 to provide professional services for the Crystal City Jefferson County Water Authority interconnect.
I'll move to accept Bill 1836-2021 on its second and final reading.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1836 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Piccarella.
Yes.
Councilperson Schonberg.
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher.
Yes.
Councilperson Becker.
Yes.
Councilperson Ginevra.
Yes.
Bill 1836-2021 now becomes ordinance 1836-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
The next bill we have is 1837-2021, contract with Duraseal paving contractor.
I'll move to read Bill 1837-2021 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1837-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the first reading of Bill 1837-2021, please, by title only.
Bill number 1837-2021 on its first reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, to enter into a contract with Duraseal paving contractor for an amount not to exceed $16,146.75 to provide work on 12th Street. This work is an extension of work being performed for the Crystal City School District on the high school parking lot.
I'll move to accept Bill 1837-2021 on its first reading.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1837-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
I'll move to read Bill 1837-2021 on its second and final reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read 1837-2021 by title only on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second and final reading, please.
Bill number 1837-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, to enter into a contract with Duraseal paving contractor for an amount not to exceed $16,146.75 to provide work on 12th Street. This work is an extension of work being performed for the Crystal City School District on the high school parking lot.
I'll move to accept Bill 1837-2021 on its second and final reading.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1837-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Ginevra?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Schonberg? Councilperson Piccarella?
Yes.
Bill 1837-2021 now becomes ordinance 1837-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
I think we're done with them. Mercy, it's City Administrator's report. Mr. Eisenbeiss?
Yeah, I got a couple things to go over real quick. Anyway, just a reminder that our sunshine law class is, I think, next Thursday, no, two
No.
Thursdays from now, sorry. April 8th at 6. This is a mandatory class, whether you are here or not, we have to be here. So, we'll see as we get closer, I'll try to maybe have some pieces or something for everybody. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but I would figure 6 to 8, probably be a pretty good time.
Kind of what I figured.
Festus will be joining us somehow by Zoom. It'll be interesting how we do all this, because they have to take the same class. The next discussion was, the county is in yellow status. I don't know if you guys, we never really closed anything down. Everybody was always able to come, but I don't know, we went through one meeting and different things, so I don't know if you want to continue with one meeting. I think it's working fine. If you want the supervisors to start coming and attending the meeting every now and again, how do you guys want to continue doing business?
If the supervisors, they have something, yes, they can come, if they don't have anything,
Right.
I agree.
Okay. I'm fine, I think we're getting it all done, and if we do something like Tony's gonna talk about a consent agenda, all that would have taken us about,
See that, or hear more about that.
Okay.
that would have taken us about 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Not that we have a lot of ordinances, but one meeting a month, we could potentially have 3 or 4, so. The other, last thing I want to talk about then real quick is the billing option, the water billing option, that I left some information on your, tables. Everybody, I probably know myself. Anyhow. Oh, there it is. So, I had told you this during the budget, because I thought there'd be a large capital outlay to try to get this kicked off, get this, have them do whatever they needed to do to go to this new billing system. It turns out there is not any capital outlays. The first sheet I gave you is kind of what we spend now. The second sheet is somewhere close to what it would cost us, through them. Some of the advantages, we're still working through this. Lisa and I went down to Perryville about 3 weeks ago, talked to those guys for a long time, went through several of their bills that I gave you examples of, and flyers they've included, which included holiday trash pickup schedule, extra stuffings you can do in the bill. Came back, had a meeting, Zoom meeting with, this company, and then he followed up with us today on a phone call. So some of the one thing, there's no capital outlay. The second thing is some of the different things that we can do are listed on that first sheet, auto bank draft, which we don't offer now, and then monthly reoccurring withdrawals. The sample bill, just he threw together real quick to me this morning, is on the second page. We can have that colored whatever colors we want. I would assume maybe to match our logo or something, so it's not so different, but, I'd like to kind of switch to this now. There's no capital cost as I had thought. We have had a tremendous amount of problems with our water bills lately. I think the girls probably got upwards of a dozen or more phone calls today alone. More than that? Yeah. They're getting bills in the mail today that were due today. We've been in constant communication with the post office, but it doesn't seem to change anything. When we send our first class batch, which is usually a stack of bills about that with a check, it goes here to Festus to St. Louis, back to Festus, back to here, I guess. Somewhere along the lines, when they get to St. Louis, they're not coming back.
Okay, how's this gonna be routed then?
So this actual billing will go out of South Carolina. Now, I would assume it will still go to the St. Louis post office, but we asked the question today, and he says they haven't been experiencing any problems, and this is a normal letter type billing. I don't know if they're just having mail issues with our postcard type billing, or if it's everybody's gas bill, phone, or just mail in general. It's probably just mail in general.
Everything that goes through Hazelwood right now is a crapshoot whether or not it's gonna get delivered.
Right. So I can't answer, will this help? But we could also put on there, for, we're having billing or mailing issues, in that city spotlight section, because one of the questions Tony asked today, are we waiving late fees? Well, obviously, we're not charging them late fees if they're just now getting their bill. So, But it has been a nightmare with the post office. The guy here's trying everything he can, but he's just working.
It's not here.
It's not here, right?
Yeah.
Is there an option to opt out and just pay online too? Do you know if they provide that option?
To opt out.
Paper, you get rid of the paper and just,
Yeah, and he did say one of the things this morning that would bring the cost down. If they just want a paperless billing, then that's less postage, so, you know, if you get, what did he say today, if you get 2 people to do that, and there's almost $1. So, the more people you get to do that, there would be savings in the.
okay, great. But there's an extra charge for it too, though, isn't there?
There's an extra
Okay,
charge if you
email
pay
bill?
online, but not for getting the paperless bill. Yeah.
Nobody
Okay.
does it now? The email version? Okay.
I actually get both, mostly because I wanted to see what the timing difference is between when I get my email and when I get my paper bill. And I'm pretty sure I paid I paid my water bill on the 2nd, and I just got my bill today.
Well, and this guy, talked this morning that they'll have a link and stuff, we'll basically have a quasi Crystal City website page that you could go to, like a dashboard. You could drill down every month, there'd be a link on our website, but it would be like a dashboard for Crystal City only that their company manages on the back end. So, the more people that can do monthly ACH, auto debit out of your checking account or credit card or whatever, probably won't care that they have a hard bill, they'll be able to go in and.
Yeah, so
in there, so.
I would probably just get the paperless bill and sign up for ACH. But the question I asked Jason is there any kind of limitation on how much it can draw? Because if you got a water leak or something, you don't wanna have the city try to draft $2,000 out of my checking account. That could happen if somebody's not keeping an eye on it, or if there's not a threshold we can set where it cuts it off for automatic.
And I made a note on my list of things, I told him I would talk to you guys tonight, get back with him tomorrow, because this will be a 2 to 3 month process. We have to meet with their team and then start designing our bills, start working on our billing system we have, our coding system we have, and then start some sort of campaign that, hey, start looking for these bills, because there will be, we're gonna, instead of reading 3 times a month, we'll go over once a month, reading. So there's gonna be a time where you may get a smaller bill, but then next month it's gonna be bigger, because you're making up for the difference when we switch billing.
Will the amount of days be on there so they can see that?
Yeah, it'll be just like that original bill I gave you, and during the budget session, that'll show what they used every month. It'll be like your Ameren bill or gas company bill now. So it's a lot better than, and the whole backside will be information about, you know, like, I wanna put that thing on there which shows a 1/4 inch, an 1/8 inch, you know, what a pinhole leaks that's on some of the back of bills. I think that's important. And I didn't get a chance to talk to Lisa about Tony's question today, but my initial thinking is that would be kicked out during rereads, and then we'd go back and reread that. If they had their bill's normally 100 and it's 3,000, it would kick it out. I don't know how we stop it after we go back and reread it and say, yeah, that's true, it's going through your meter somewhere, how we can not withdraw 3,000 from their account. I don't know that.
Because I wouldn't have processed the bills all the way yet when we do read.
But if what we do and it still stays true, how do we say, okay, you can only take out a max of $40 or whatever?
For that 1 month, you need to send a bill.
Yeah, well, and that's something we can ask them, I'm sure they know,
Or if
you know.
there's something, I don't know, like, on your end, when you are approving the payment to go through to Crystal City, Ameren, that kind of stuff, something that's flagged.
They have that kind of stuff on commercial checking accounts, but usually not on personal checking accounts.
So
At
we'll
least not that
ask
I've
them
ever
if
seen.
there's a way to flag it. If anything, she could pull it out
Yeah.
and then contact the resident or not, we can go leave a note on their door
Yeah.
or something. Well, I mean, that's just something we'll have to talk to them about.
Anyway, it sounds like something we definitely ought to do, but just, even if it costs just a smidge more, which it looks like it would if you include Lisa's time in there. Like, just the advantage of more informative bills and, additional options for getting things paid electronically and things like that. It's a no-brainer, I think.
It will be a much more informative bill. I like it, I really do. And I know that young lady out there The short time I was in there this morning, I bet she was on the phone 15 times just telling people, no, there won't be a late charge, there won't be a late charge, there won't be a late charge.
Yeah.
And I can't guarantee that'll improve, but the guy on the phone seemed to think, for some reason, they're not getting our postcard mail to us, even though we pay first class.
I don't think it's,
I don't know.
it's
They do
not
so much
postcard.
bulk mailing out there, he said they don't have problems. No, I can't, that's just what he said. He's also a salesman.
So over the next few months, will we be able to post something on their water bill that says, you know?
Our bills are changing.
Yes, yeah, well, I figured we'd do a full, try to, as much campaign as I can do, social media, website, on the radio every other Wednesday. We can put the problem with our current bill, we can get like 3 sentences. But we can put something on the marquee, we can try to get it out, but there'll be he seemed, I would think this would be June or July before this is. Cause once we okay
So we'll
it,
have a couple months
yeah,
to
then
leave it out
we'll
there.
meet with their team to start designing our bill exactly how we want it, working through the back door of our software system, their software system, Keith's questions such as you guys have just asked. So he seemed to think 2 or 3 months.
Could we send out a blank one the first month, saying,
We could.
with our postcards saying, be watching for your new bill next billing cycle?
Right. We could see if we can do, and we'd just pay for whatever the cost is, not a big deal.
Yeah.
To send out a sample billing,
Right.
to say, look for this coming in, once we have say our kickoff date's July 1st, maybe in June, we could send something out, said, look, you know, we'd have to put something on the envelope so they just didn't throw it away, but look for your new Crystal City water bill soon, utility bill, whatever.
Don't make it a blank bill.
No, because they'll throw it away, but, yeah, we'll do the best we can, and I'm sure they'll create a sample for us, and just charge us for whatever it costs to mail, which.
If we're gonna do that sample bill, can we also have that include the instructions on how to sign up for paperless and all
Yeah,
ACH
he
and all that
indicated
stuff?
today that they would have all that on the back of the bill, or somewhere on the bill, how to do
Alright.
that, because I think that's one of the big things they push for,
Okay.
you know.
when Perryville did it, they sent a full page thing to set up, I don't know if you saw that in the packet, that's what they did. It was just basically like a form with instructions on what you need to do as a customer to go and get that set up.
Okay.
Let's have you or Shelley or somebody and have, somebody explaining how it works and what the options are and everything. We shoot it on a phone if we wanted to, and then link that to the website so that, you know, they could actually go look at kind of an introduction to how it's gonna work.
He said today, if we move forward, that we would have, obviously, we'd be given a team, and we'd start working with, I forgot the one guy's name, but somebody else, and then there would be Zoom calls, video links to watch all that. So we'll know more as we get into the process.
Jason, I guess my other thought is, just in the name of keeping this kind of on schedule so we can roll it out sooner, if you need, to have meeting time on it, or if we need to approve something, try not to set it up so that we're, like, if you need a decision, but we aren't gonna have a meeting for 3 weeks, call a quick meeting, so we can keep things moving.
I would imagine by the time they get their team together,
If that's okay with everybody else.
and we meet and kind of learn more questions, that probably the April 22nd meeting, we may have something to show you. I don't know. Just shoot for that. So, that's all I have, unless anybody had anything else for me.
One thing I've got, I talked to Mr. Holden out from the Vespa Special Road District. We talked last year, or year before last probably, about the airport road. They're still wanting to get together on that. I know COVID messed us up on it, but maybe you might can get together on it.
Yeah.
I'll try to set something up, and we can maybe go to the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, so they were willing to do the work if we bought the asphalt, something like that, yeah.
And I think at one time, we had the highway department wanting to get involved in it.
Yeah. It desperately needs fixed out there. And anytime we can jump on and get some partners like the high school, where it's so much cheaper to do it when we just in unison, it's already there. We're not paying double the mobilization, so.
I talked to Ken Holden out the other day, and he asked where we were at, I said, same place you're at, you know, nobody's doing anything right now.
And I haven't heard anything from Randy. We talked a couple times, and I haven't reached out to him either, so.
Okay, well, I'll maybe get on with Ken and get that started.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
And I've got a quick question about the American Rescue Plan. I'm just kinda surprised they gave us an amount already. Where did you get that from? Does the county get the money?
I got that from my, I believe it came from MML, I've got several of them, MML, and then the ICMA, or my NCMA managers group.
Okay.
Bouncing around on those listservs and stuff.
Oh, so is that like a blanket amount for every city, or is?
No, each city is different based on your population.
Okay,
I think, around, that I know, I think Hillsboro's getting $500,000, Festus is getting 2.2 million, I think.
wow,
We're close to the 900,000. Harkey's in that 700 range.
okay,
But we're very limited, and I don't know exactly what we can spend it on, sorry. What I've told you is exactly what I know. So I was kinda hoping we could put a little in reserves and bill off that, but it doesn't appear we're gonna do that. It has to be spent by 2024. But I think what I laid out initially, at least, is some good capital things that we should consider purchasing. Those are very expensive items that we need, and we'll free up those, if we can spend it on those type things, especially the garbage truck and the new street sweeper. Doesn't believe it, but that street sweeper's going on 11 years old now. Still runs, still in good shape, but you basically have somebody gonna buy you equipment. I think we should take advantage of it, so.
I think let's find out what the rules are before we start figuring out how we're gonna spend it.
I'm just giving you ideas.
I know.
I already got it spent. So, that's just my thoughts. I got a webinar Wednesday on it, I don't know more then.
okay.
Do we wanna talk about the Twin City Days at all? Not yet?
It's scheduled. I gotta get a hold of the new owners of Crystal Tavern to see if they're willing to, if they're gonna be open, and two, are they willing to, participate in Twin City Days? If not, the Cobblestone event, I don't know how to hold it without a bar. The office does not generally take,
Well, they're still gonna sell alcohol at, Crystal City Creamery?
oh, I thought they weren't doing that anymore, but I don't know.
No, they are.
And I can talk to those guys. They didn't really get involved in the street portion of it, like, the Crystal Tavern has, as far as having somewhere out there to serve beer, but patrons were in that, they joined in with us and worked with Mark when he owned the bar. The office has not participated in that. Obviously, people can go in and out of there and do what they want, but they weren't an active participant, if you will. So I have to get a hold of the guy that's bought Crystal Tavern to see. Right now, Twin City Days is scheduled. We will hold the Cobblestone if they will be open to participate.
And that all kinda depends on where this pandemic goes.
True.
'Cause, I mean, if you watch the news today, it's going up a little bit, about 5% throughout, people are
So the Twin City Days Committee has decided to hold Twin City Days, and we will adjust accordingly as the year goes on.
Right.
If we get a month out, 2 months out, and it looks like we can't do it responsibly, then I believe we're ready to not have it. But I think,
that on the chamber website, it says that if we're in the orange 30 days before, that it's canceled.
right,
And that, that they're telling everybody now that's a distinct possibility. If we're not, then great, we'll be able to finally do something, but, I think all the communications that I've seen have been pretty clear that we wanna try to do it, and we're gonna go ahead and go forward, but we could pull the plug at any minute if things change.
correct.
And Mr. Eisenbeis, would you wanna kinda touch base and let the council know when we had that meeting this morning about your concerns and our concerns
yeah.
about the traffic and?
So as everybody may have not seen on either the leader or the radio, wherever, the health department is going to be holding a vaccine clinic in the old Shop and Save, Shop and Snooks, whatever it was last. So we met over there. Obviously, that's one of our most dangerous stretches of road in town. So the chief, the mayor, Chief Festus, their administrator, and I met over there with the health department, more concerned about the traffic issues. We're obviously glad they're gonna have a vaccine clinic, get as many people vaccinated as possible. We wanna be partners with them, so we met over there and talked about some inflow and outflow of traffic issues if they need us, signage, anything like that. So it sounds like they're gonna try to get some signs up encouraging people to drive slow through there. We'll also, coordinate with Pazera and their trucking operation as they have 30 to 50 trucks a day running all day long from sun up to sundown. So we'll try to get stuff on our social media. We're gonna try, I believe, to, south in, south out, I believe, encouraging people to go, to veterans and the highway, to 55, whichever. We did learn that it's not supposed to be people from out of state. They're going off their list of county residents only, which makes it a little better as far as knowing the area, which was my main concern. Chief's main concern is people from all over trying to get these shots from everywhere. And as you try to go north out of there, it's really, it's a bad situation. So, I think we work with them. We had a good meeting this morning and try to collaborate and be partners with them.
I guess that makes sense. I was thinking like, surely they won't have any more people than used to go there grocery shopping all the time, but if they're coming from outside the area and they don't know.
Which was my concern, and Kelly's response, and that we don't think it'll be any busier than normal, and I said, well, I probably agree, but I would, agree that the previous tenants' customers were probably locals that knew the area where.
Yeah.
But she affirmed that it's their Jefferson County list first,
Okay.
not so much out of state or out of the region, or, which was my concern.
And it may start, April the 1st, is that correct?
That's what they're trying to shoot for. I think that's just gonna give them a clean bill of health, no pun intended, but to start operations, the building was inspected, fire suppression's working. We have a little traffic plan now, I think, and, it sounds like they're gonna try to get up and going, as soon as they can. They're trying to do 12 to 1,400 a day, I think she said, all scheduled by time slots, and she said when the National Guard is there, which was one of my concerns, because anytime you see a bunch of National Guards and this and that, not only it's more of a distraction, but, she said it's very regimented. It's a smooth operation, as you would expect out of the military.
Said about 25 National Guard, 10 inside and 15 outside.
Right. So a lot of the concerns were alleviated when we found out it's gonna be local residents, and they agreed that we should try to keep them going south instead of trying to go north. So, we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully everything's...
Mayor, before we move on from the city administrator's report, did we want a motion about, bringing back an ordinance to change our meeting schedule permanently? If we're gonna do that?
We should probably have that.
Yes.
Are we all in agreement that the one meeting a month schedule's working?
I'm okay with it, like I say, as long as if we have something come up, we'll call a special meeting and we're here, so I'm okay with it.
So I'll move to, drop an ordinance that, permanently changes our meeting schedule. If you wanna bring that back to the next meeting? Need a second on that?
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Will you take care of that, Mr. Eisenbach?
I will do that. I'll try not to have 6 more of it.
Yeah, thank you. Just that time of the year. Okay, the mayor's report. I have the, appointments of the department heads, and I'm gonna leave it up to the council, however you wanna do it. I can read each one of them off individually, and we can vote them on it individually, or I can read the whole list off, and then we vote on them as a whole. It's your call.
I would rather vote on them as a whole, if you wanna read them off. I don't have any
preference as well.
Yeah, it sounds good.
All right, everybody okay with that? Yes, sir. The following department head appointments should be made. City clerk, Shelley Stager. Chief of police, what's his name, Mayor? Let me see. Mr. Chad Hills. Captain of police, Mike Printo. Water superintendent, Larry Locke. Street superintendent, Danny Turner. Building commissioner, Mr. Richard Cox. Fire chief, Mr. Tony Bova. Assistant fire chief, Mr. Michael Schrage. Municipal judge, Mr. Forrest Weggie. Backup municipal judge, Mr. Brian Hammond. Court clerk, Mrs. Renee Perry. Finance officer, Ms. Barb Halter.
Move to approve the mayor's appointments.
Second.
A motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. The next thing I have on the agenda is the reappointments of the following committee chair appointments. Finance, and here again, do you want to do it the same way we just did?
Same way.
Please.
Yes.
Finance chairman, Tony Becker. City Buildings, Taylor Massa. Police Department, Ms. Mary Schomburg. Public Welfare and Fire, Mr. Rick Fisher. Labor Relations, Mr. Jack Jenifer. Water Department, Mr. Dave Picarella. Annexation will be Mr. Mike Osher, and Street will be Mr. Ken Bradley.
Move to approve the mayor's, committee head, or, committee chair appointments.
The motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. And at this time, I will open the floor for nominations of Mayor Pro Temp.
I'd like to nominate this guy sitting next to me, Mr. Picarella.
I'll second.
The motion been made and seconded. Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Congratulations, Mr. Picarella.
He's never absent, so, thankfully.
I'll make sure I don't miss the next one, how's that? At this time, I would like to appoint Mr. Mike Osher as Ward 4 councilperson upon the departure of Mr. Farmer. Mr. Farmer resigned, from the council due to him moving out of the town and moving out into the R7 area.
Do you need a motion on that?
Yes.
I move to approve the mayor's, recommendation for Mr. Mike Osher.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Just one thing, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering if it's in order to do this, but since, was Jared still gonna be on the ballot next time? Is it okay to do that before?
Yeah, don't see why it wouldn't be.
I mean, I'm just asking.
He's already resigned, so.
Right,
yeah.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I just wanted to ask a question.
And Mr. Osher will serve until next election, however, if he chooses to run again.
Right.
Would run for a one-year term, for 2 years, and
Okay.
go from there.
Okay.
So the motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Mr. Osher, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome to come up and take your seat so we can get you sworn in.
Welcome aboard.
Huh?
You should have never answered the phone.
Oh.
Usually that one in the middle there.
Mr. Eisenbach, did you get a nameplate for Mr. Osher?
Yeah. Good thing you guys said yeah. Me and our options are kind of limited into. Here, where are you?
Michael Osher. Do solemnly swear. That I possess all the qualifications. For the office of councilperson Ward 4. That I will uphold the Constitution of the United States. And the state of Missouri. The provisions of all laws of this state. Affecting cities of this class. And the ordinances of the city of Crystal City, so help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Osher. At this time, I will, go to the round table. Councilperson Picarella.
I don't have anything to say, let's talk to the rest of the meeting. That's all I have, thank you.
Ms. Schomburg.
No, sir.
Councilperson Fisher.
I'd just like to thank the city and council for the plant and people coming to my father's funeral. It was very kind and appreciated by the family. Thank you.
No problem. Yes, sir. Here again, sorry for your loss again. Mr. Becker?
I did have just a couple of things, Mayor. First, I want to thank the Crystal City Police Department for an excellent alarm response Saturday night. While I was not excited to get a phone call at 11:30 when I'd been asleep for an hour, I went back and looked at the cameras after the fact, and from the time the alarm went off to the time that there was an officer in front of the building, 90 seconds. That's outstanding. And one of the things that we need to appreciate is that if that was in the county and it was not in the city of Crystal City, that probably would have been 90 minutes. So we have an excellent police response in here. Having said that, I'm also wondering when I'm going to get my summons since we just passed our alarm ordinance. What happened was we didn't have the basement door latched properly, and since the wind was blowing 60 miles an hour that night, it tipped it open just enough that tripped the sensor. But
You're fine.
yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. Okay, talked about that. And then the other thing, I sent around an email about this, and I believe Jason put something at everybody's seat. But, and I did not bring a copy of the email I sent out, but you can see how fun that was this evening, going through all those ordinances. And what I would like to do, if everybody's in agreement, is to establish a consent agenda procedure. And what that is the mayor and Jason, when they're putting the agenda together, they can select items that either are completely uncontroversial or they're the outcome of a months-long process where we've already had input and it's already been discussed ad nauseum, or it's something that has been through some other long process or is somehow routine. But basically, instead of voting on each one of them individually, you put them on what's called a consent agenda, which is a list of all the ordinances and resolutions that you want to approve that night. And then if any one of us wants to pull something off that consent agenda, we just ask, before we get started on that part of it, I would like to ask that this item be removed from the consent agenda, and then it goes through the regular process of voting and discussion and everything. But outside of that, if there's things that we all agree are just, let's get it done, that would say it took us about 25 minutes to get through all those. And if we're moving to a one meeting a month schedule, we'll have a few more nights like that from time to time. So, I've seen it work in other municipalities and organizations. It seems to work pretty well. But is there any questions I can answer about how that might work?
So that will take the place of us reading an ordinance twice and then doing a roll call vote?
Yeah.
It's not proper.
And it's listed, the bill number, the description, and probably the title, at least, would just be listed as part of the agenda. So we don't need to read through the whole thing. And then if nobody wants to take anything off that consent agenda, somebody would make a motion, I move to approve the consent agenda, and then we would do a roll call vote on that. You can cover a bunch of items all at once that way. It's a time saver, is all it is.
Kinda like we do now with the liquor licenses, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, or a sheaf of appointments or something like that.
Hey,
It's
Tony,
just yeah.
if someone wanted to do a discussion on like one of the bills in the agenda,
You would just pull it out of the...
and you'd have to pull it out to do that? You can't discuss it if it's in the consent?
Usually you don't. Like the
Okay.
proper thing to do, if you don't want something to just go through on the group vote, is to pull it off and discuss it.
Okay.
And, I did put an example of procedure, Shelley did actually,
Yeah.
of the county, they run a consent agenda, there's some
Now,
information in there.
Like I said before, or like I said in the email, I would not necessarily look to the county council as an example of how anything ought to be run. But in this particular case, they do a good job with it.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
I like it.
Jason, do you wanna look into seeing if we need to make any changes to our ordinances or anything to include that? Okay. Can you,
And if you wanna make that motion, whether it's by final, we don't,
yeah. So I'll move to establish a consent agenda procedure after consulting with the attorney, and if we do need an ordinance to approve that change, to bring an ordinance in proper form back to the next council meeting.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Anything else, Mr. Becker?
No, sir, I just think that, rather than spending time on kind of rote procedure like that, we could spend that same amount of time discussing things that need to be discussed and be better for the citizens and probably better for us. That's all I have.
Very good. Mr. Ginever?
I have a couple of things, and surprisingly, one of the things is something that Tony just talked about, which is the false alarm ordinance. I've actually witnessed a few since we've passed it, and I'm wondering if we're hitting a threshold where we're actually, applying some of the reparations. You don't know? No, that's okay.
the fire chief is not brought, in my opinion, I'm not brought to his attention, but I know what you're talking about.
Whose responsibility is it to count it then? Is it it's the police department too, right?
Well, everybody responds, yeah.
Okay.
Saying, on the basis that the name we've had probably two, but,
Okay.
usually when, it's usually chief of, because these guys are here, they're not. So he usually brings information like, hey, they're gonna get out of control again, so-and-so, whoever. So I'll talk to him about that.
Oh, okay, I was just curious if it's working out, because I think I know why we did it. And I've got some people that are, asking about the water situation. I think the comment was made earlier that there's still like 15 leaks that are active.
We have fixed 15, 20 leaks.
Oh, fixed that many, okay.
Fixed them, yes, over the month of February, and this month here also.
Our previous council meeting, they said one morning that the water level was down like 6 feet or something like that. Has that been fixed?
Well, we're picking back up.
Okay.
You got any information on that?
We are making progress, but they are having to work overtime to keep a sustainable level.
Wow, okay.
We purchased I don't know what you wanna call it, but it was a quite expensive leak detector, is what I'll call it. So they can set it on, I believe, a meter box or curb valve or whatever here, and then put another one 2 blocks down,
Ah.
and let it run overnight, and it somehow pings, can go down to a certain point and say the leak's somewhere between here and here.
Oh, that's good.
There is one.
You can hear the leak on the.
That's good.
So they started, it's kind of funny, when they get this machine out of, their previous machine out of the truck, it looked like this, it was the other end of the telephone. And they just put it on, literally put it on a rod, and you could pick it up that way. But technology has advanced to where we don't have to use the phone, I mean, literally you laugh when you see it. And now
Nice.
it's just, I think that machine's about 20 grand. But we've had professionals in town looking, we've looked, so we think that it's either in the woods somewhere, or it's automatically going down a sewer, a storm sewer. Because it's not surfacing, we haven't, big vehicle is falling through the pavement, somebody's front yard's caving, we can't find it, and they're looking every day.
Okay.
Came at 3 o'clock Friday morning, I believe, and dug up the intersection of Missouri and 11th, where there's continuous water. We tested that over and over, there's none of our chemicals we use in it. We believe that really is the spring coming off the cemetery.
Yes.
Wow.
It's not a leaking curb out there, so it's just process of elimination. They found a pretty good one here, I don't know, right down where you see off Bay over there. They have 2, one on the sidewalk and one on the road.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. There was a sand base underneath that sidewalk, so we know how long that had been leaking, and we found the previous tap over on that side of the road that wasn't cut off. So, it's
Okay.
I think we just had a series of leaks, as you do every winter. It was really bad this year because of that hard thaw, freeze and thaw we got in
Right.
February. Which led to the road problem, so it's driving them nuts, but they're trying.
Okay,
All good, this piece of equipment, they can.
okay, thanks.
15 to 20 leaks that we had didn't help matters none either, 'cause they've been fixing them left and right. I mean, just one right after the other, so.
And, just one more thing, I was driving down past the new street department, and I thought I was gonna lose an axle on one of the potholes there. I thought it was kind of ironic, so.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're paying attention to the potholes, but there's a doozy right there
Yeah.
by the street department.
Right there in front of the,
Those 4 or 5 that are right there was the water taps that were made to go to the new building, animal control.
Yeah,
So I'm hoping the tag on the Joker, maybe get that done.
okay,
I had Danny say, we pour concrete in the back to bring them to fix those sidewalks, so when they do pay, they can use the one section there going into.
okay.
So I think there's about 4 or 5 spots that are really bad there.
and we might have Mr. Attorney put some more rock in them, 'cause when I went down there this morning, I mean, I'm kinda, I know they're there, but I'm kinda dodging them myself. But maybe
I
we
do
put a
now.
little bit more rock in there and kinda tamper down a little bit.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Yes, sir. Mr. Osher, do you have anything you'd like to bring to the council, sir?
No, sir. I appreciate the opportunity, thank you, and, look forward to serving you guys.
Very good, very good. Chief Helms?
No, sir.
Mrs. Easter? Nothing? You're always talking. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Eisenbeis?
I just wanna congratulate Mr. Turner on taking over, and his sidekick Curtis will be the foreman, he is taking Danny's job. We've all been, with, Mr. Friedmeier, I think he's been here 26 years. Next
Right.
Wednesday is his last day, so we'll have some cake and stuff here in the afternoon about 2, which was in your report. Danny's been here 15 years, I think, Steve Curtis, 12. So that's your new street department, superheroes.
Very good.
So, I do need to get your thing for the website and stuff. So I just wanted to congratulate those guys. Thank you,
Yep.
everybody, for my contract again, 4 more years with me. It's gonna be great. I appreciate everything you guys do. I think we got a really good group here. Makes it easy for us. I speak for everyone, Mark.
Everyone?
Yeah, thanks for all pretty good.
I'm just kidding. Anything else, Mr. Eisenbeis?
No, sir.
Madam Clerk? And yes, I'd like to echo Mr. Eisenbeis on Mr. Turner. Mr. Friedmeier, like you said, has served us for 26 years, and I remember when Mr. Hastings recommended Mr. Friedmeier for that job, and he's done a lot of work throughout the city, saved us a lot of money on various things. Fire department, he's been on the fire department and does a good job. And with that, that's all I have. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I'm sorry, hang on a minute. Mr. Turner, you got anything you'd like to say, sir?
Nope, just thanks for the opportunity, and got a lot of work to do this summer, so.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And I will say that I seen something this morning that it really pleased me. The street sweeper operator got out of the truck a couple times and picked up some debris and that up and down Mississippi Avenue. I mean, instead of just running over it, he knew that sweeper wouldn't pick it up, so instead of running over it or going around it, he picked it up, and that's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta keep doing, you know, don't drive around it, you don't pick it up. I don't know how many trash cans that I've picked up over the last couple of weeks over all this high wind all over the place, but maybe I didn't put them in the right place, but I got them out of the road, so. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, okay. All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried, we are adjourned.